Hi everyone, this is my first ever Sims video. It might be my only ever Sims video, but I had so much fun doing this build. I was really inspired to create like a cottage type thing. I've been loving like all the cottage core vibe stuff that's been like, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Oh well, I don't care. But I was just really in the mood to build like a little cottage type cafe. We've had a lot of cute stuff come out in The Sims lately, like the country kitchen, and I don't know, I've just been having so much fun with that I just kind of got inspired to share. I I was also really bored, so again, I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. So I chose a lot. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the room actually right now. So I was using a reference picture. You can't see it here, and I can't find it again, but it had this really cool like curved element to the roof where like one side of it was only curving like down, like it did a weird like swoop thing, and I really wanted to do that, but like the Sims, it just didn't work. It didn't work out with it. So I kind of went with like this like curved barn looking style, and you'll see me try it like several times, like, oh, it's like only curved on one side, and I couldn't get it to match up, so I kind of gave up. But I wish I could have made it work because it was really cool. I'll have to do some more experimenting with that. I just didn't have patience. I wanted to get like the like cafe going and like add all the flowers and stuff, and the Barney type curvature looks pretty cool, and it gave the kind of vibe I wanted to go for. So I ended up having no problem with it. I'm using the brick from the new country kitchen pack. I love it. I love the texture on it. It's very light. It's so clean. It's a lot different from most of the other bricks we've had so far, and it just kind of goes with that like cottage type deal I was going for. You'll see me often like in this video where I kind of would just change my mind on something because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I don't want it to go too far. I'm like, how much is too much? How much is that limit? I don't know. Is there too much when it comes to like cottage style? I'm not sure, but I really didn't want to do that. And I also kind of found, like the Sims, like they are adding new stuff, yes, but it's still kind of limiting as far as a lot of styles go. Like they'll have some stuff, but not a lot. Thankfully, they have a lot of like shutter window options, which are pretty cute. I ended up using like a lot of Windover type stuff. That's where the slot is anyway. So I was like, oh, I don't like. I didn't see a problem with using it since the lot's already there. It's like it would match some of the stuff around it. It's kind of funny because I didn't have any sort of like inspiration outside of wanting to build a cottage type deal before I built this house. So it was just kind of like, I want to just build a house with lots of plants, basically. And then it turned into a cafe. It was like, oh, this is like, I'd love to visit a cafe like this where it's just cozy. It's got flowers everywhere. It's in the middle of the woods randomly. I kind of like that idea of it being like, maybe like a touristy spot, I don't know, or like somewhere you read about on a travel blog. Like maybe someone is a local to Windenburg and they know like all the best spots, like the ancient spots where you go to the cool parties sometimes in game. Like maybe this cafe is like one of those little spots that like the insiders know about, that it's like, oh, you want to like get the best coffee in town, oh, you got to go to like this little cute cafe, plus like you get the cutest pictures there, and it's like it's for the experience type thing. But I was kind of mad now that we're on this. I was mad that like that bar thing isn't cuter and it only comes in those two options, and it's not really two different options. It's just one without the espresso machine on it and one with. What? That's not even okay. And the flooring was hard too. You'll see that I ended up going with this one, but there's a lot of cool floorings that I could have chosen from. I just wanted to make sure that it was like the right vibe and it matched well and it wasn't too much. Again, like I was so nervous about things being too much in this build. Because I wanted it to be cozy. I wanted it to be something that like, yes, like you'd go in here and like you'd read a book, or you'd like come with your friends and just kind of like relax, you know, like maybe just enjoy like the scenery, go take a look at the water, maybe you're like out hiking or something. I don't know. I wanted it to be a chilled, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I wanted it to be cozy and just not too much, because you don't want to go into somewhere and be like, oh my god, the flooring in here is orange, it's ugly. So that's why I went with like a darker flooring. Also the walls, I wanted to keep all that like stone, because I feel like they would probably keep it all stone, like instead of it being like painted on the inside. I don't know, they probably could paint, but I like the idea of it still being all stone and then accented with a lot of like flowers and art and books. Because in my mind, that's what makes a perfect cafe. I don't know if it's like true or not, but in my mind it is. um I don't own all the packs for The Sims 4, which is, it's kind of funny because most people, you know, who do share that they build and stuff like that, they do own like all the packs as soon as they can come out. So I've been having a lot of fun just getting like packs when I can, kind of a deal. My birthday was recently, so I took and spent some money, my birthday money, on some packs, and some of that was the laundry day stuff because I knew it kind of had that same vibe as like the country kitchen, and I really liked the country kitchen stuff, so I bought that in the laundry day, and I've been having an absolute blast because they just go so together so well, and I've building like a lot of cottage type stuff. And I love that round table that's in the background that I set those other chairs around, but it's so, it like the chair slot's so weird to it. I don't know. I struggled for a long time, like adding furniture to the cafe because I really liked the windows because they kind of had like a blue and yellow tint to it. I don't know. My eyes were kind of, I don't know. I saw like, I don't know. I just, I really like the idea of doing like blue and yellow because those are kind of cute colors and they go together well. And there's a lot of options in The Sims as far as those colors go. But a lot of it was like too blue or too yellow. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, like cheese hair yellow. It just, oof, it was hard, but I knew that's what I wanted. And again, it just took forever to find the right vibe as far as furniture went. Like I've already switched it like 5 times at this point. I don't know. And, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I even still might go back and change it. I don't know. I might go back and actually make this into a house instead of a cafe because I think that would be like, it would be fun to play in this little like house cottage in the middle of the woods. It's cute. Like I could see a family. I'd probably make it more off the grid and just kind of play that way. Add like a little clothesline out in the backyard and more of a garden space for them. It would be cute, but I don't know. I really wanted to build a cafe that day and spend some time in it. I'm really sad I couldn't make this yellow couch work because I thought that was just like the vibe, exactly what I was going for, but none of the woods matched. It just didn't. It was so frustrating because nothing that I tried like really worked with what I wanted. I eventually figured it out, but it took a lot of time. It took the majority of my time just trying to figure that stuff out. Like I thought I was going to spend more time like landscaping the cottage because there's just so much, you know, like moss and landscaping, like flowers and stuff like that goes into building a cute, like realistic, in the middle of the woods cottage. Sorry, I don't know why I said lodge, but cottage. And I spent so much more time furnishing than I did. I ended up using like that cream colored couch because I thought, you know, even though it matches like the wall, I thought it was still cozy. It wasn't like I'm gonna slap you in the face with color like you wouldn't want or expect from a cute, cozy cottage. It'd be calmer. It would be a little bit more rustic. It'd be homey. So just bright colors just didn't go with that vibe. Maybe if it was a completely different vibe, I don't know. But again, it took me forever, and watching it back is so painful almost. Like, oh wow, that really took as long as I remember it taking. But yeah, like I said, I just got the laundry day stuff. I've been loving like the furniture options. I'm surprised I remember voting on this, and I might be like, I don't know, I might get some hate if anyone decides to watch this video for saying this, but I don't know why people hated on the laundry day pack so much. It like, is so cute. It has so many cute like furnishing options if you enjoy building cottages like I do, you know, the more country type stuff. So it was like super fun to download that and see that, not only for like the aspect of adding, you know, just like the extra chores or whatever to your gameplay. And I've been enjoying that because it gives your children more responsibility and they can help take care of the house. Because I just feel like that's more realistic. Like they wouldn't just be able to just sit and like skill build all day. They would be like helping mom and dad out with something, or like whoever their parents are. It doesn't have to be mom and dad. But I just had a lot of fun with that aspect of it, you know. Randomly catching on fire. Oh, it was so sad. One of my Sims caught on fire like right before she went to school, all because she was just trying to start the laundry before like her dad got up, and it was so sad. She even did it like voluntarily. Like I didn't command her to do so. I hate using the word command, but you know what I mean. Like you play The Sims, you're commanding them what to do, basically. I don't know. I didn't even tell her to do that, and she caught on fire right before she had to go to school. So she was like stinky all day. And if that isn't the definition of gameplay in The Sims, I don't know what is. But anyway, you'll see that I like eventually landed on these chairs. Like they're a little fancier than what I had pictured, but I think they're just cozy and they have that blue. It really kind of like combined the flooring and that bench where the espresso machine is together. It took me a while to decide on like what bookshelf I wanted to use, and I eventually landed on this one. I love the ones that have just more books in it because it just makes more sense to me. I love the options of like being able to slot other items in there like plants, but for me, like my bookshelf, it's all books. I don't I mean, there's a couple like Funko Pops on there that are really fun, but like when I'm looking for a bookshelf, I want it to be covered in books. Like when I'm looking on the internet at pictures of like libraries, I want it to just be books. So I wanted to give that vibe, and I could add the plants in other places, like adding that overhang like wall shelf of flowers. Again, this was a case of like, oh, is that too much? And oh, okay, that wouldn't actually work out. Let's maybe not. And I think I made a couple choices like that a couple people wouldn't have gone with, but I don't really care. I had fun. And like the really fun part is coming up of this build. It took a lot of time and patience to do the exterior, and you'll see why in a few minutes. But yeah, I was really glad I went with that yellow and blue. It ended up being like really cute to go with the brown because it just wasn't too much. It was fun, it was cozy, it still had a little bit of color to it. It wasn't just completely neutral colors, which was really fun to experiment with. So this is the part where I was like, oh, how am I gonna do this? It took a lot of alt placing, and typically in my builds, I'll be completely honest, I will try to like use as like not as many cheats. You know, I'll try to avoid cheats as much as I can because I want it to be as like gameplay friendly as possible, just because I find it really annoying if your Sim's like, I can't walk through here, and oh, you took so much time to make that. Like, no. So I tried to not use the cheats until like absolutely possible, and you'll see me do that here with like the twirling around and adding and taking away and all this stuff. It just, that's what landscaping really is just kind of moving it around and being patient with it, and you know, being willing to redo it a couple times if you need to. And it was fun. I ended up just really loving it. And another thing too with like landscaping, I'm still not the best at it, but my best advice is like, you can use patterns. Patterns are so helpful. Like you'll see like, oh, like it works on this side, I'm gonna add it to the other side. It works on this side, I'll add it to the other side. And that was so helpful in like making sure that everything just worked for this cottage cafe. Is, in all honesty, that's what made it come together, is just the pattern of everything. And so you'll see that I used that on the walls. I used it when I was like landscaping flower beds, and it's just really effective. So if I have any advice, it would be that. Also, to just be like patient with the build, you know, like as I'm sure a lot of you as well, building in The Sims is kind of like a stress release for me. And so if I just get stressed while I'm building, it kind of like takes away from, you know, like the point of just like building for fun, building to have fun. So if you're getting annoyed at like one part of your build, or even if you're annoyed with gameplay, just walk away from it for a second, or try to do something else on the build. You'll see that I will switch like back and forth a couple times in this video where it's like, oh yeah, this is coming together nicely, like I love this, I wanted to focus on that, until I got it done. And then other times it was like, ooh, that's frustrating me, I need to just like turn it around for a second, turn around, think about something else, and then come at it again later. And again, that's like the best thing I can recommend to you if you're going to try building. Just be patient with yourself, be patient with the process. Like, don't be afraid to try new things. Like, you never know what may or may not work. If it doesn't look good to you, it's okay. Just take your time with it. Like, come back to it later. Like, there's been some builds that I was like, oh, it's awful, it doesn't look good, I wanted it to look good, and it was like disappointing, and I just kind of like walked away from it. I did something else, I did some gameplay or something like that, and then I came back to it later and I'm like, wow, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So yeah, that's just my recommendations. If you need a break from something, don't be afraid to like walk away from it. And that applies to all areas of life. You know what I mean? Like, I am an online college student right now, and I'm in my senior year. I'm like a few months away from graduating. I'm so excited. But my best advice to anyone like still like on their degree path, or like maybe in high school, just take a second to like walk away from what you're doing. Don't be afraid to take breaks, because the worst thing you can do for your brain is make it exhausted before you're finished with everything. But yeah, it's just, I'm coming towards the end of the inside of this build. I'm glad I walked away from it for a while because it gave me some perspective. I got to do the outside, which was what I was really looking forward to doing. And I came back to the inside and I kind of decided I wanted to make it more like antique, like maybe this was someone's house and then they turned it into a cafe. And that's what I ended up doing in the description. And so it was good to just walk away for a second and play around with a couple things, just try to decide what I wanted to do. So I'll talk about like my description of this in the gallery really quick. It was really funny because I don't know, I hate throwing up builds with like zero description or just like, this is a house. I don't know, like if you're gonna add to the gallery, it should, come with a little like story to it. It's fun. Plus, that's just me. I love writing. I'm a very creative person, so anytime I can add story to it, it's fun. And so I said like this was like Ida and Ollie's like little like cottage that they built, and it's passed down through generations, and the charm has continued. The charm and their love, you can still feel that when you're in the like cafe. And wouldn't that be so fun to go to like a little cafe that has like history behind it, and maybe you can find out a little bit more about that family while you were there? I would love that. I'm a huge history person. I love learning about my own family history and other people's family history. It's just really interesting, all the wonderful people that have been in the world so far and continue to be in the world. It's lovely to be able to hear their story and just be able to, even in the Sims, even if it's fake, just think about, maybe there is like a little place like this somewhere out there in the world, and maybe I'd like be able to see it someday. I don't know. I love it. That sounds cheesy probably, but who cares, right? I knew going into this too that I wanted to add like a little patio at the end of it, because this absolutely would have somewhere to, and enjoy the outside. Like I could feel like the owners would highly encourage that. Like you should go like hiking here, like go explore this part of the world, go explore this. This is what we recommend. So, they would totally probably like have an outside eating area. Like, yes, go eat outside. It's a nice, beautiful sunny day. Go enjoy like the smell of like all the beautiful pine trees around you, all the just wonderful like, oh man, I want to go outside. I'm so tired of being closed in. I'm excited it's almost spring, because it can get really, really cold where I live. So it'll be nice once it starts greening up a bit more and I can go out on picnics and stuff like that. My husband might hate it because he's got really bad allergies, but he'll do it anyway because he loves me. It was really fun too to add a lot of like terrain paint to this. I don't usually add terrain paint because sometimes it can just like look off. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like sometimes when you're building it at a house, it's like, wait, why just that random path that doesn't work with the sidewalk. It like frustrates me so much that like the sidewalk and the path don't match. I don't know. But with this, it's like it's just surrounded by forest, so you could really just add a path. And I can imagine like Ida and Ollie laying like these little cobblestones, you know, like one day they just, I don't know. It's like I was just trying to tell a story with this place, and it ended up coming together really nicely. And as I go around, I didn't want to do it too perfectly because like sometimes it just looks fake that way. It's like I try to make it look a little realistic, not too much. Again, I have a habit of doing too much with stuff. It's like, am I going too over the vibe? But again, it was so much fun. I love nature, so it was fun to do this. Like I would love to just live in a place like this out in the middle of the woods somewhere. Not really in that time of life. Maybe when I retire in 40 years. I don't know. Are we ever going to be able to retire? Millennials, Gen Z? I don't think we will, right? Here in the US, it's looking less and less like we'll ever be able to get to do that. But that's okay. We have our dreams, right? Can save up for your dream cottage. Hopefully. I don't know. Who knows? You never know these days. No one thought that the COVID-19 pandemic was going to happen, did we? No one saw that coming. If you did, why didn't you warn us? My husband and I got married last year, and we got engaged in February. So like COVID kind of was a thing, but it just it was kind of like when people were just joking around about that guy eating a bat, and now it's just kind of ridiculous to think that was ever the meme. You know, that COVID is definitely not a meme anymore. It became just tragic. But anyway, yeah, so we got engaged in February and we were planning on getting married in May. But yeah, we didn't want to wait. We were like, it looked more and more as though we didn't know what was going to happen. So it looked every day, you know, when COVID was becoming more and more severe at the start of that, we were just so nervous that we weren't going to be able to get married until like the end of the year. So we decided to get married in April instead. And it was honestly the perfect day. It wasn't like a big, huge day like every, quotation marks, every girl dreams of. It wasn't like the huge day that I had thought we were going to have, but it ended up being so perfect. It was very romantic. It was just like our families, and got married in my parents' backyard, and I had always wanted an outdoor wedding, so we really lucked out with the day that we got, and I feel just so blessed that I was able to marry him when we were able to, because a lot of the struggle that we experienced last year, like it made us grow closer together as a couple and just more in love. And I really appreciate like the timing of things, even though, like I wish the pandemic wasn't a thing. And I'm so very sad for all the people who have lost family members and all the people who have passed away. It is very sad, but I'm thankful in my life that I was still able to move forward and go forward with the dreams that I had. And be with the person that I love more than anything in this world. I just, I feel very fortunate every single day that I have that in my life. I can't imagine not being married to him. I'm so thankful for that. But anyway, I'm coming. That was kind of a tangent, wasn't it? Oh, well. Like the whole time too, like this is so funny. I was listening to like Evermore by Taylor Swift the whole time I was listening, and like, I was listening to that while I was making this, because that folk music that she's putting out right now, it makes my soul feel so good. If I wouldn't get sued for playing the music, I would have totally played that like one of her songs or album in like the background as I was doing this, because honestly, if you need music to help you build, I don't know, that's how I am. I like music to go on when I'm trying to like write something that fits a specific genre. And the folk music was like totally helping me like just tell the story, because that's what that album is all about, is like telling a story, and just going as I just love her new music. Like Folklore and Evermore are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pieces of work. Like that and my marriage in 2020 is like what saved my mental health. Like just the love I was able to feel through her music and through like my relationship with my husband. Oh my gosh, those were my saving graces in 2020 because there was just so much. I'm sure like everyone has felt that. I'm sure like, you know, a lot of people have talked about just coming closer to their families over the past year. I'm so thankful that so many people have been able to experience that. There's truly nothing greater than family in the world, and I'm so thankful for them. Anyway, um, landscaping was really fun. You'll see that I like hid parts of the build with plants because like it was clipping so bad when I was trying to use that ivy moss. So it was just like, oh well, I'll just sneak like a lavender bush over here to block that. And you will never know unless you decide to go in and move it, right? And again, like a lot of like landscaping is patterns. It like works really well because you don't want it to be too much again. So just like saying like, oh, hey, I have a little bit of this over here. Let's put like more of that on this side. And just like, you just play around with it and you find like your style that works for you. Like there's no one way to do anything in life. And that is established in The Sims too. There's more than one way to do things. Like don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong, okay? Because I know the Sims community can be kind of toxic. Just have fun and do you, you know, like there's probably people who hated what I did with this build. And you might even be watching this video, but you know what? Like, thank you for your criticism, but I don't really care. I had so much fun with this build. It was great to do this. It was great to jam to Evermore. It was great to build something that I really loved, and I'm so happy to share it with you. I will post to in the description of this video like the link and stuff like that and my gallery ID. But again, I had so much fun doing it. It was so, oh my gosh, I just needed to do this. It felt good. And I really love the result of it at the end of the day. Like it has all these flowers in there. It has a lot of like greenery and it just felt like the vibe. It felt right. And I was really happy with how it turned out. Oh, this last minute addition was like something that I was like, whoa, genius idea, like at the fence around like the little patio. It was so cute. Those little like potted plants, they work so well for a fence. So if you can like alt place, I totally recommend doing that. Maybe I'll have to create some sort of tutorial because I feel like a lot of Sims builds don't address like this jargon that you hear. It's like alt place this, da 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 da. So it can be kind of confusing for people just coming into The Sims, and I'm fairly new to like building in The Sims myself. So I would love to help anyone that would need that. But yeah, I love the cottage so much. I love sharing it with you guys. It was so much fun.